everybody who has problems with being homeless or poverty or transient, everybody's story is different. And it's like, you know, you hear a lot of people and they think that people who are addicted to drugs must be stupid or unintelligent. If they're poor or on welfare, they must be stupid. Just through circumstances, people lose their way. From my experiences, I believe the most important thing is for them to make the decision that they want to move on and that they're ready to move on. But in order to do that, they need to believe that they can. Don't let them slip through the cracks.
I lived with my dad growing up, and he is like kind of an abusive drunk, but at times he would like go out and drink for days, and I would have nowhere to go because he would like lock the door on me, and I couldn't really get in my house and had nowhere to turn because everybody else like thought like, yeah, you know, you're just trying to get attention. No, it's just cry for help and stuff like that. But I really had nowhere to go. I just constantly walked around for days by myself, like just, I don't know, sleeping in parks, going all over. Once in a while I'll try to sleep at a friend's house, but that's about it, and then wait till he gets back, you know, get beat, and then I would literally have to take off just to be away from that. Like, literally have to force myself to stay away from home with nowhere else to go.
Because I've been homeless before, and I've never had to deal with like a really harsh situation where I had to leave, like absolutely 100%. Like I grew up in like a small white community, and like to me it was torture being there because I couldn't stand like the racism and my parents being Christians, and like basically not being able to participate in society, even though I didn't even want to participate in society because they all hated me anyways. So technically, like, my whole life was just like, you know, this one big mind game that I couldn't get over. I couldn't move forward in that environment. I was a kid, but like, I mean, when I look back at it now, I think that was dumb. Like, I was a dumb kid and I just like ran away, like when I was like super young, and I've taken care of myself ever since. But like, you know, I've never absolutely 100% had to leave.
I came from a deeply religious family that really put on a really presentable image for everyone else to see. And growing up, they wanted me to fit into that. And when I turned 14, I made the decision not to be a part of that. And that really fractured my relationship with my parents. I started using drugs. It was more heavily. You feel very exposed when you have nowhere to go, and you don't feel safe. Yeah, when a kid's out on the street, one of the things they say is get a job. It's so simple, but it's so hard because you wake up in an air vent and you're carrying around a backpack and you basically have to wash up in a hotel bathroom or a McDonald's bathroom. The biggest thing that I experienced was a complete loss of self-esteem. To do that, to be sitting on the sidewalk, be visibly homeless, to look through a garbage can for whatever you can find, bottles, to ask people for change, you have to drop all your self-respect. It makes you feel like you're a whole other species, and that's one of the problems with being homeless, is you're just different from everyone else, and you're not worth it, and you don't feel like you're worth it. It really gets to you.
No, I couldn't go to school because of how much I was like getting hit and stuff. I missed, like, because I had bruises and stuff on me, like stuff I couldn't even make it. I couldn't even like pick myself up to go walk on the bus, and so when I finally did eventually go back to school, they told me that I couldn't even go to school because I missed, I think it was like 70 out of 100 days of school. It's never really worked out because I always wanted to be a teacher. May sound a little weird, but yeah, I wanted to be a teacher. I don't know, I kind of want to hang out with kids.
Yeah.
And I already got me a family now. Like, I'm happy for myself.
Almost exactly a year from August 2009 to June 2010. And during that time, we were struggling with finding a place to stay. We'd find a place, but then it'd be a matter of finding my mom a place, and if anybody that we knew would be able to help us. And sometimes it got to the point where it was so bad we had to sleep in a tent that wouldn't do up with one blanket over 3 of us in the winter. You had to find organizations that were free for food and showers and clothing. Where we were homeless, that welfare wouldn't give us our money, so we wouldn't have money for our own food. How would we go about finding a place? Or we'd look in the newspaper, but every time we'd try renting or calling somewhere, they'd ask if we had references. We'd say no, because it's our first time renting. And they'd be like, oh, well, we can't rent to you because we need to have references. So that didn't work, and then
just over 125 years ago, when Chief White Captain John Lake met, and John Lake wanted to know where we could have a European settlement. And Chief White Cap told him that this was the best location in the entire Saskatchewan River Valley, and hence Europeans came and the city of Saskatoon came about.
It goes all the way back to the 1800s to colonization, to the loss of land, to the loss of millions of dollars worth of resources. Like the First Nations people right now should be the richest people on the earth, and instead they become beggars. They're filling up the prison systems. So there's a whole host of reasons why all of this is happening. So we need to find a way to break that cycle.
I belong to a group called Stream from the University of Saskatoon, and if they see me where I'm living right now, they'd be just, But you know what? It's humbleness in life. This is where we used to live as a homeless couple. Me and my wife, we had to defend ourselves. We had to live here, and that's how the homeless, people, they treat the homeless people like that. And this is where we live.
And the cops chased us out of here one night.
Yeah.
So we had to go somewhere else and sleep. When I moved back to Saskatoon, I moved in and out of Saskatoon most of my life, and then I had a stable home, but I got in trouble with the law. And then as soon as I left the home that I was living in, I tried to come back, find a new home, and it was very difficult to find because of the price of the rent going up, and it was all new. For 6 months, I come out and everything was different.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is like very difficult because I had everything. I had a house, I had my kids, and then I've been trying to get into school. After so long, it's been difficult. I've been here for about 2 months, me and Joe. Yeah. And my kids, well, they want to see me, but how am I going to have like a visit? They're also giving me a rough time with that, like social services and that, because I don't have a place.
Being to Salvation Army for at least a good year, then I just got sick and tired of hanging around the same group. Just like seems to me that, it's around here, it's always crystal meth. What's going to happen when here I pass away? The Canadian government does not cover for funerals. Sorry, we gave you this change of free offering as long as if you come forward and you tell us what you do with your welfare check or your GST check. Sorry, they don't cover your coffin box. They got enough problems and are already on the street, like myself. I'm not too sure what I'm going to be doing for winter. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be doing for winter.
I'm homeless because they don't want me to live here until I finished all the work. Oh, I've had this battle with the city for over 6 months. And that's another thing that's happened because of this battle. First of all, they insist that I stay elsewhere. But until now, I haven't had money, and I've been eating down at these free places like Friendship Inn and Friendship Indian and Métis Friendship Center. And we have a problem. There is homelessness. They don't believe it. Well, I think that's willful blindness.
I want a place. Yeah, I may be in the position of being homeless, but I have it in me to want and to get out there and get it. Because there's, I can't, who wants to be in that statistic? But at the same time, having the help that I have already, I'm not going to sit on there and not get a place. That would just make me, very incompetent, or whatever. I feel for the people that don't have these resources or whatever. That I feel for the people that don't have help.
I am an addict in recovery. I have 7 years of sobriety. And when I was on the streets myself, not here in Saskatoon, but somewhere else, I walked through the door of a mission, a very hurt and needy soul, and was met by a volunteer with open arms and who did not discriminate against me for the way that I looked or smelled or what I was doing or anything. And she never judged me. She never asked me what I was doing. She never asked me what I wasn't doing. She just hugged me every morning and said, "Good morning, Shelley. How are you? And I'm so glad to see you. Are you hungry? Come and eat." And that's what she gave me. She gave me love and unconditional acceptance. And so when I got clean, and I was a professional before I started using. I've been a social worker for 22 years. And so I knew what I was doing before, right? I knew what I was doing during. And when I got clean, I knew that I had to do something to give back. And so I made my way here eventually. Realistically, what I do here is I serve food. And in serving food, I serve love.
I have no dream. I'm on disability. I can't do nothing. If I could work, I'd work it. The only work I have is on the street.
I'd have to beg for change to get something to eat. Or else I'd turn to stealing and I'd wind up getting money and using. It was a very powerful cycle that I was caught up in. But without the help that I was given, I would very likely still be on the street, injecting drugs, committing crimes, looking at either jail, death, or a mental institution.
I've been there before, yeah. I have been there when I actually was incarcerated at one time and I had no place to go and I didn't want to move to PA. I know my family kind of I guess you could say migrated to Saskatoon here. I've had a kind of an up and down life up until now. I'm not going to lighten that maybe in the future, but right now. And I'm pregnant. This happens to be my 4th child. Right now, first things first, continue coming to this program and keep making the calls to get into my place. Yeah. I already got it. and I to keep my place. As soon as I'm in there, to keep my place, right?
Yeah.
Fill out applications for low income,
Yeah.
considering I am bringing a baby in this
Right.
world. From there, just maintain life till I get into school, and then from school, just take one day at a time, you know. Considering I will have a baby by then in a short time, I gotta kind of work with that, and then that's the short term as I'm gonna plan for now.
That I'm not, ruined, that I'm not broken because of the mistakes that I made, because of the things that happened to me while I was on the street. That didn't destroy me, didn't ruin my chances. And also, there were some great resources. The school Nutana, they're giving opportunities to adults to come and upgrade. Their support services here are some of the things that really help me. And the social programs, EGADs, youth drop-in centers, those maintained my connection with society. Even if some of these programs are working with people who don't necessarily want to change at the time, I guess a lot of people might think, why would you want to help them if they're not going to change? Why would you want to help a drug addict and feed a drug addict who doesn't want to stop using? Well, the fact is someday they are going to want to stop. Nobody wants to use forever because it hurts. One of the few memories that I remember crystal clear from when I was on the street in Victoria is when husband and wife took me out for coffee one day. And they weren't just doing their charity. A lot of people would come and they give you a coffee and they'll give you your muffin and say, have a good day, and they walk away. These people, they talked to me. And we had a conversation, and we wound up talking about just a book that I had read, and they had read as well. And I remember that. I mean, that's not what allowed me to change my life, but it's things like that that can really make a difference. The one thing that would have prevented me from going through the things that happened to me would have been to have a friend that could help me, not just with securing funds to get a place, and not just getting the place, and not just getting the job, but sort of putting all those pieces of the puzzle together. Right now, there are kitchens where you can go to eat. There are social services that will provide you with a check for rent if you meet their criteria, which unfortunately there are a lot of people who don't. And there are programs that will help you get into employment, but there's nowhere that helps you put them all together.
I get worried about, the people out there now that it's winter time, and it kind of disturbs me, and
feel sorry for them and we want to take them in.
yeah.
So we help them out. We help them out and we let them, we'll make a bed for them. Like, I don't know, it's so nice.
Because we went through that before.
We were homeless.
Like when people took us in, that's how we
managed to take
other people
yeah.
in.
Even this one night, when we were living over here on Avenue S, this was like around 2 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden, knock, knock. We were all up in the house.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, knock, knock. So I go and ask her, but I didn't open it, eh? I said, who's there? It's an Indian, he goes.
Just an Indian.
And it's just an Indian. And I said, what do you mean? Can you let me, what did he say? I'm homeless.
I'm homeless.
I don't have nowhere to go. I have some beer, I'll give you a drink. He goes like that, eh? And then, but none of us weren't drinking in the house and that, eh? And then, so I opened the door, eh? I asked him.
He was an old man, what's that?
With a cane.
It was like minus 40 below out there, really cold.
Yeah. So we're he goes, well, I'll sleep at your door. He goes like that. And I said, no. I told him, no, you can't. Well, I don't have nowhere to go. Would you be able to take me in? He goes like that. I looked at him and I said, honey, So we take this guy in. He goes, yep, let's take him in. And I said, okay.
But I still think about that old man all the time. It's been, what, a year now since the last time we seen him.
And then when we moved here, how many people we took? We took in about four or five people. And those 2 people got a place.
We
helped them get a place.
Yeah. They have their own place down the street now. So they're not homeless now.
They can't say they're not homeless now.
Well, I would like to see things change is like before then the rent used to be really cheap, like back in the years. Like it was used to be $410, $450, 500, but nowadays like the rent increased from $900 to $1,200 for a 2-bedroom, and people out there don't hardly like mainly don't have any references, landlord references, or any help at all,
or you'd have to share rent with people, and you don't want to share rent with people sometimes.
About the city, like just bake something, like a homeless shelter, like make a couple or more, and like help get other agencies to help the homeless to get them off their feet and help them get their education, get a job, just make that in balance, like straight like this, and just make it that way.
I was